and welcome. I'm John and this is Unique Wargaming Terrain. Now guys, last terrain build was a fail, okay? I'm disappointed in it, but that's that. We're going to move on now. This episode, on this terrain build, we're going to do the Crystalline Structure. Now, if you're new to the channel, welcome guys, sit back and enjoy, because you've got us at the right time. You're going to see some crazy stuff. If you're a regular here, welcome back guys, I feel the love. Now, on the beginning of a few videos back, when I did the expanding foam, the prep video, and I done the setup, and I showed you at the beginning of that video, I showed you all the different things that you can do. One of the things there, which is a more complex thing, which we're going to do today, is the crystalline structure. Now, before I start showing you bits and pieces, these two bits are from a previous can of expanding foam, okay? But we're going to use one of those, possibly both of them, as a base for the crystalline structures, okay? It's cheating a little bit, but they're just sitting around, floating around doing nothing, just sitting there, moving them from there to there to there. So, no, let me use them. Because the last crystalline structure I did, I had the same sort of thing, and that worked perfectly. Now, if you hear that in the background, that's because there's a snowstorm. It's, I can see the snow flying through the door there. It's not that bad at the moment. It's meant to get worse over the next couple of days. So, this video might even be finished before then. Now, from the expanding foam video, I did the templates. The main piece that we're going to use to make the crystalline structures is this piece, okay? Now this can be used for a wall or ruined part of building. Just cut bits off and cut bits out and all that sort of stuff. This bit here, we're not going to use, okay? There's a blade over there. Right, so we're not going to use this piece, but it's this piece that we need, okay? So what I'll do, I'm just going to talk you through it a bit, but don't worry. I'll cut that off and then cut it down. And you want bits like this, okay? Because then you can cut and shape them to make the crystals. There's another piece from a previous one as well. I'm going to use that as well because again it's sitting there doing nothing. So guys, sit back, enjoy, and I'll see you in a second. Right guys, so what we do is I'm going to cut this off. We won't throw it that way because we'll use that for something else. Right, what I'm going to do, now I've got this, okay, I'm going to cut it down into bits. So now you can see the difference. This one I've already cut, but it's not sculpted yet. But you see what we have there. So we need to try and make this one same as this one. The best way to do it is just to cut directly down, make it as square as possible. Okay, so I haven't got it square, but it's that's sort of okay. Okay, so that's a bit easier for sculpting with. So I'm not going to do this one yet. I'll do this one after off camera. What we do then is we have to try and sculpt this to turn it into a steak. When I say a steak, I don't mean get your frying pan out and I mean like a vampire steak. Okay, so we've got that rough shape. So what we do is we just start turning it like this. And when I keep cutting in to try and make it into a point. Now, yeah, that's not perfect. I think the piece is too small to begin with, but you can see how that is. Okay, let's turn it around so you can see. Alright, so this piece is a lot bigger, so we're going to do that with this now. There we go. Yeah, that's so simple. So now we've got 2 crystals. Okay, so we're going to make another one out of the other one, but I'll do it off camera. Now, I was going to use both of these, but I've realised there's something that I haven't shown you with one of these that I can do, so I'm going to do that on the next video because it's quick and easy. But so I'm going to take this one. Now these bits that I've shaved off, yeah, don't throw them away because that's nice. They're nice little off-cut pieces that you can use. Right, we need some fine grit sandpaper. This is the last piece I have of it. So, right. But as you see, let me move all this out of the way. Right, so I have it on there. You can see it's wibbly wobbly, okay? If you can see the bottom of it, you can see it's sort of like dome shape underneath. So the first thing we need to do is we need to take that, take the blade, and we need to gently sort of just carve down to try and make it as flat as possible. See all the bits I've shaved off, yeah? That's not good for anything. I haven't come across, oh well, I haven't had an idea to use them yet. So, do them. Now, let's put it up there. Now you can see it's still a little bit, it's not flat perfect, but it's a hell of a lot better. So what we do then, we take our fine grit sandpaper, we take the piece, we need to get this bit level. So we put it down, give it a gentle circular motion sand to make it as flat as we can. Actually, you need to do that on a harder surface. Bear with me a second, guys. Now, you see that's pretty much, so the camera's jumping because I've, beeping, I don't know what it was. The camera's jumped, so it's on the table, on the arms on the table. Now, that's almost as flat. That's almost millimetre perfect flat. Now, when you're doing this, you'd have a whole sheet of fine grit sandpaper, yeah? I've only got half a sheet there because I haven't had chance to go to the hardware shop to get some more. And when I do have a chance, it's not on my list. I forget about it. Right, so now what we have is this top half to work with. Because what we're going to do the bottom half now, we're going to cut a base. I'm going to hot glue it to the base. If there's any gaps, it doesn't matter because we can fill and mix that. But what we need to do is we need to decide how our two crystals, and I'll probably cut the third one, are going to sit. Yeah? So then what we need to do is cut and sculpt this for them to go onto. Now, you can, on the other one that I've shown you already, the one that I finished, I cut and sculpt 3 sections for it, for it's going to. Now, with this, I'm thinking of just cutting the top off a little bit, because I can pin them in and then fill and mix the whole thing. So that's what I'm going to go for, just to keep it simple. Now, I'm not going to throw that piece away, okay, because that could be used for something. So I'm going to put it to one side. Now, this is what we've got. 2 flat sides, yeah? So I can put just to one side, just to the other, okay? It's that simple. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go off camera, cut a base for it, and we're going to hot glue it to the base. And no, actually I won't. I'll sort it out onto the base. I will hot glue it onto the base. I was just thinking of doing it now, but I won't. It's getting a bit late, so I'll probably do that for tomorrow first thing. And then I can pin and PVA glue these on as well. Yeah. So that looks fantastic as is. I might even actually, I'm jumping too far ahead. I'm going to give this, yeah, not the bits I've cut, but the rest of it a little sand down first. Okay. And then I'm going to go on with the base and everything else. So guys, I'll see you in a second. Guys, so I've just cut and sculpted as I showed you. I cut and beveled the base, which I don't need to show you, but if you want to see how to bevel bases and cut bases, and try to comment below and I'll show you, but it's not necessary because you've seen it. And all I've done is I've hot glued it together, okay? Some of you go, what the hell? Look at it carefully, guys. You see the 2 crystals that come out of the light as reflecting. 2 crystals have been glued on. Just, what did I say, that wispy bit? There's a scrape in there. So you see 2 crystals in there. Now, you can see there's a gap between now. Now what I've done, if you watch the last build, you'll see that the point of contacts weren't too great and I had a few problems with it. What I've done is I've just put a heap of glue there, just pushed it in, just keep squirting it in there, so it gives me a stronger point of contact. And one on this side as well. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill and mix it. So when it comes to the gaps down here, I'm going to really push a fill and mix in to make it nice and push it as far as I can, and then just smooth it off. And I'm not leaving that here. It's going to go into the house to dry because the weather out there is still bad. Now with the crystals, when you fill and mix the crystals, you want to water it down so it's really thin. When that's done, when it's dry, you then have to get your fine grit sandpaper and give it a gentle sand down, just to try and get as many imperfections from the filling mix out as possible, because you want to try and have the crystals as smooth as possible. So I'm going to get on with that, and when that's done, when it's dried, I probably might have just show you a little bit of filming of sanding it down, just so you know what I'm talking about. Not sanding, but just how fine you have to have it. And then what I'm going to do is I'll undercoat it. Now, when I'm undercoating this, again, I can't use a spray can because it's expanding foam, it'll melt it. Even if it's covered in filling mix, oh, you've missed a bit there, it's going to melt away. So the best thing to do, it would be underspray. Now again, I've shown you underspray. If you want to know more information about underspray, check it below, and I'll show you about that as well. Okay, so guys, I see you in a second, guys. So I filler mixed it. There we go. Yeah. Now you can see there's some holes there because the filler mix was a bit runny, and it's only after I've done it I was like, you idiot. The same filler mix I used to make the big build, which as you can see in the background here is covered in wrap to keep it safe. And in that build I had to water it down to make it to a paste. Obviously the water goes to the lowest point of the pot, so I'm at that point now, so it's all a bit watery. I was like, but you know, that's not a big issue. That's not a big issue at all, because when I come to paint it, it can make it look like it's heavy weapons fire, or that the crystal itself has energy bursting out of it, or you know, there's 101 things to do. But back to the task at hand. You can see on this, getting close up, it's not perfectly smooth. There's lumps on it here and there. So you get fine grit sandpaper, and you're going to gentle give it a sand. Now, from this angle you see it perfectly. You can see this bit here, yeah? Where we cut it and sculpted it, that's like a flat surface. So you want to try and keep these edges as sharp as possible, because then when you come to paint it, it'll define different parts of it. So let's give it a little sand. I'm going to sand one, going to go off camera and sand the other one, and give it an undercoat and everything else. Now again, I can't use the black spray because it's going to melt the expanding foam. So I'm going to give it a underspray. Now I was hoping to have, I was thinking about using an airbrush and just black hairspray in it, but the black paint I have is too thick, so I can't do that. Let me give a gentle sand down. I'll do a little one to save a bit of time. Let me show you this side now. You see this side, there's a bit too much filler there. So you can sand that down gently, or what you can do is paint that so it's like a rock. Okay, so the crystal's coming out of the ground and that side's still covered in rock. Whichever way you want. I'm going to give a gentle sand down and see how good I can get it down. That's a bit too lumpy, so that's going to be a rock face, okay? Which is not a big issue. So now I'm going to go off camera and I'm going to do the other one, and then I'm going to give the whole thing a underspray, take it out to dry. So hopefully that'll be dry in a couple of hours, and then I can just start putting base colours down. Yeah, now for base colours, now with the crystals, I've got a very old paint called Polished Blue. It's a metallic blue. Now what I usually use it for is Chaos Warriors with a mark of Zench, and I paint that on their armour. So it's a blue, shiny, but on certain areas it's silver because it runs off blends into silver. Now the last one I did, that's the colour I used. So I was probably going to go the same way again, but you could, and I was thinking about this as well, I've got some lead belcher over there, silver, for the airbrush. So I was going to airbrush it with the silver and then wash it, like with an airbrush, but wash over it. Yeah, now you can do that, or you can just paint it with normal paints, whatever colours you want, and then you can get like a gloss varnish. Okay, and then just give it a gloss varnish. But we'll cross that when we come to it. So guys, I'll see you in a second. Right guys, so as you can see, I've painted a bit of, you saw on time lapse I think actually. So I'm just all over the place. I've just done the weekly Wednesday, so I'm just trying to get this finished now and get this up, and it's been an insane week for me, so it's, bear with me. So you can see the blue? Now what blue that is, so a better idea, better look. See how it's all shiny and glimmery? Yeah? Now what that blue that is this one. Okay, it's a very old paint, it's called polished blue. Yeah? It's a metallic blue. Now I use that on my Ascension Warriors for Chaos. If I was doing 1,000 Sun Chaos Space Marines, I might use a few, use it on them. I'm, you know, seeing the artwork on the box, I think that's painted brilliantly. So I don't know if I'd use that on it, but it gives you an idea. Now, obviously you can't get your hands on that. If you haven't got one, you can't get your hands on it. How would you get that effect? Well, you would use something like this. This is a lead belcher, okay, but this is for the airbrush. Okay, but even a normal one, even a normal one, you would just paint it silver, okay, the crystals, leave it to dry, and then you'd get a wash. Now, if you wanted to paint it yellow, you'd get a yellow wash. You can paint it green wash, whatever wash you want. Okay, you could even probably, I haven't attempted it, but you could even probably get a normal paint, put some on the palette and really water it down to make it into your own wash, and then just wash it. Now, then when that's dry, then you're a bit of the stage where I am now. So with the wash on top of the silver, as it runs off and thins off across the silver will come through and it'll be all shiny and glimmery, but it'll give you that tint of that colour. So, let's go some newspaper. Some newspaper. That's my go-to for my brush. Right, so what we're going to do now, I'm going to start dry brushing. Okay, now the crystals, I'm going to go Screaming Skull dry brush. The stonework, you know, I've got the dark grey on it, old reliable Spaceballs grey, and then the base I'm going to do some Still Living Drab on top of burnt umber. So I'm going to go off camera, do that, because you don't need to see me dry brush it, and then I'll bring it back to you afterwards, and then we'll talk about flocks and stuff. Okay, so guys, I'll see you in a second. Guys, so this camera stop bouncing. Okay, all dry brushed, the base as well. Now what I've done, I got myself some beaten copper, okay, and just into the gaps. So I'll bring it close so you can see there's bits of orange on the crystal. Yeah, when I go show you some pretty pictures afterwards, you'll see what I mean. But there's it looks like burn marks then that have been hit the crystal and it's made a scorch mark. Now flocks, it needs some flock. I'll tell you why it needs some flock, because it's grey, blue, dark grey, you know, it needs a little bit of flock. And also you look at it and go, okay, is there any bits that I've missed to paint? Is there any bits that look a bit shit? I need to cover that with flock, and this is the opportunity to do that. So you can also look for some nice points to say, okay, I want to put some flock here, I want some flock there. Or a nice point up here, I want to put some flock, but I can see there's a hole, yeah, where it's expanded foam, it's bubbles. You can see into it, so I'll put some flock on there. So I'm going to do is I'm going to go off camera, I'm going to flock it. You've seen that, you don't need to see that again. If you do, check comment and I'll do it. And I'll show you some pretty pictures afterwards, guys. See you in a second. Right guys, so all I've done is flock it. It's not dry, it's still wet. I haven't tipped it yet, but as you can see, just with that green flock, it takes away a bit of the colour and makes it look nice, instead of it being all grey and blue and, you know, doom and gloom. I should have actually got some in there and a little bit along there, but it doesn't matter, I can do that again afterwards. You can see there's a bit of white here where it's still not, where it's just been put on. But yeah, there we go, guys. See the red, the being copper, to make it look like scorch marks. Yeah. That's it. As simple as that. All from the expanding foam. And that is an amazing piece. You have that on the battlefield. Now that's the second one. So if I was playing a game today or tomorrow with this and the other piece, it'd just look amazing on the battlefield. Now, we hit the 30 subscribers, yeah, for the end of March, or February, yeah, if it comes to March. This will be one of the pieces that are up for grabs. Now, the last one was a fail, the bridge, so that won't be up for grabs. So as it stands at the moment, this only piece up for grabs. But if that was the case, and there's only one piece, I would chuck up a few other bits that I've already previously made, just so you can have a choice. But guys, so please like, share, subscribe, turn notifications, and I'll see you next week. Take care.